Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift We are coming off WWE RAW, the night after Survivor Series, once again from the Staples Center, third straight night. However, I was not there. I was not in downtown LA for Monday Night Raw because, quite frankly, NXT, Survivor Series, that's enough wrestling for me, enough live wrestling at least, and Raw usually doesn't really deliver, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not worth driving in LA traffic for. I'm just saying. SmackDown, as much as I enjoy SmackDown, same thing applies. I really don't see myself driving in rush hour traffic to go see WWE live. At least over the weekend, traffic was bad, but not quite as bad as it usually is during the week. And I actually, where I'm staying at my mom's, she lives in Los Angeles. However, in good traffic, it takes 45 minutes to get down to Staples Center. And that's, again, in good traffic. But anyways, let's talk about Raw tonight, the post-Survivor Series edition. I did want to mention before we start, first of all, Mr. Dobby with a $2.79 Super Chat donation. I liked the setup with Ambrose and Rollins, the finish. Well, that makes one of us. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Raw. I will discuss Ambrose and Rollins because it was a big part of the show. There was this show-long storyline between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins to set up their upcoming match at the WWE TLC pay-per-view, which is in 4 weeks, which is nice. I'm very happy that we at least have a little bit of a break now. I think this is the actual first 4-week break between pay-per-views since September. Maybe August into September from SummerSlam to Hell in a Cell. It's nice. It's nice to have a break. And I see in the chat room a lot of you are getting tired. I know a lot of you are watching on the East Coast, and I really do appreciate that. But if you guys are tired, feel free to tap out. It's been a long couple of days between NXT. Power Packers with a $5 Super Chat donation. Super Chat time. Where did you get that shirt of the WWE booking team? Ah, I see what you did there, Power Packers. Yeah. I would agree with you on that. This is the WWE booking team right here as far as I'm concerned. But seriously though, Amazon.com. All right, so let's go ahead and, well, wait a minute. Super Chat time. I'm going to annoy people with this. Nelson with a $2 Super Chat donation. Starrcade is coming next week. Yeah, but they're only doing 1 hour. If you're going to show Starrcade on the network, why not just show the whole thing? What are they going to do? Is it going to be just video packages, or are they actually going to show a match or two? I'm not even understanding what will be shown on this special. I feel like they're just going to show clips from different matches and like condense it into a 1 hour special. So whatever. I mean, it's a glorified house show anyways, and I don't even think I'll be watching it live. I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I just see them doing throwaway matches. Maybe they'll do an angle at Starrcade to build up something, but I would not be shocked if absolutely nothing of value happens on that show. So anyways, let's go ahead and discuss Monday Night Raw. The show kicked off with the acting general manager of Monday Night Raw, Baron Constable Corbin. He came out and said Raw is the undisputed A show because they had a clean sweep at Survivor Series. Again, it just bugs me that we do not have any reference to SmackDown winning the kickoff match at Survivor Series. It's so annoying now, and it was said several times on this show about Raw having a clean sweep at the pay-per-view. Whatever. Just goes to show, WWE doesn't care about the kickoff. So why should we? Just saying. So Stephanie McMahon came out, or as Kurt Angle would like to say, here I am. See, I bring up Kurt Angle and I start stuttering. Stephanie McMahon, as Kurt Angle might say, came out and she talked about the clean sweep, blah, blah, blah. Braun Strowman came out, said he wants his match with Corbin because that's what Stephanie promised. If Raw won at Survivor Series, Strowman would get Corbin. The match was set for WWE TLC. Baron Corbin, the acting general manager of Raw, against Braun Strowman. And it is going to be a TLC match. This was the stipulation that Braun Strowman picked. So, I don't get this. A TLC match is usually involving guys that do high spots. In kayfabe, it doesn't make sense because Corbin is more agile. I mean, Corey Graves even brought this up. It's a match that favors Corbin. And in real life, in non-storyline terms, you got two bigger guys doing a match that's designed for the smaller guys that do the leaps and the high spots off the ladder. Really? TLC match with these guys? I don't know. Just doesn't sound very appealing to me personally. And I just don't buy into Corbin as being a real threat to Braun Strowman. But anyways, there was a stipulation made by Stephanie. So if Baron Corbin wins the match against Braun Strowman, he gets to be the permanent general manager. However, if Corbin loses to Strowman at TLC, then he is completely done as general manager. And then there was an additional stipulation. So Strowman will get his championship opportunity against Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at the Royal Rumble if, and only if, Strowman can defeat Corbin at TLC. And then Corbin wanted to make a handicap match, Strowman versus McIntyre and Dolph Record Scratch Ziggler. However, Stephanie, I guess she's a babyface this week, she decided to make it a 6-man tag team match. So then we had the 6-man match, which was Strowman, Elias, and Finn Fonz Balor against Bob the Lash, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. Before the match, Elias did his promo. LA loved Elias. He was really over. Crowd was going nuts for him. We had the match. Balor was the first one eliminated, and it was an elimination match. I think they announced it when they came back from commercial break, and I just missed it. So all of a sudden, Balor's out, and I'm like, wait, what happened? I thought this was just a one-fall match. So I missed it, whatever. I mean, I was half paying attention to it anyways, and Cole just annoys me. The whole announcing team just gets on my nerves. And this leads to a point that I would like to make about watching the shows on TV versus watching them on pay-per-view. So, as far as TakeOver goes, I feel like watching it live is actually a step down in a way because of no Mauro Ranallo. Ranallo is so great at commentary, and I did mention this with the other guys when we did our review video the other night. I could see him there at ringside, and just his body language, he was so animated, and just looking at him made me more excited about what was going on in the ring. That's how good Ranallo is. On the flip side, I feel like I enjoy watching Raw live or Survivor Series live or any main roster show live because of the fact that I do not have to listen to the announcers. When I have to listen to them on television, it brings the show down for me. That's how bad they are. And Michael Cole just annoys me. But the fact is, like, all of them are just told to say what Vince wants. And I think maybe they could do a better job. But even Ranallo, when he was on SmackDown, even a watered down Ranallo is still better than what we're getting with Cole and Renee Young, for that matter, and Byron Saxton, Corey Graves, whoever's the third guy. And you all know how I feel about the 3-man teams anyways. So that's my little rant on all that. We had the match where Balor was the first one out with the Claymore. Surprised? Balor's a joke. He's just a geek. I said it before, I'll say it again many times. We had Strowman, who was not tagged into the match, so it was basically Elias getting beat up by the other three guys. And by the way, Super Chat time. Let's see what we got here from Mr. Dobby33 again with another $2.79 Canadian donation. Aaron, you should be a writer for WWE, seriously. That would not work out well because I would lose my mind, and I actually want to enjoy what I do. And I think writing for WWE, it has to be a terrible job. Like, I think for some of those guys, it might sound like a dream job until you actually get the job, and then you realize, yeah, this sucks. When you have to write for Vince, it's annoying. And there were plenty of segments on this show where I feel like it was written for Vince. And I will get to that here in just a few minutes. But back to the match, we had Elias go after Lio Rush, who was on the outside. And by the way, I'm bummed out on a personal level that we got no Lio Rush promo pre-match. I wanted to see Lashley flex those glutes. I wanted to see Lio talk about how he's the man that looks like money, smells like money. It just isn't the same when Lio Rush is quiet. I know people don't like Lashley and they're sick of the act, but I enjoy Lio Rush, personally. He had a megaphone last night. I don't think I mentioned this during the review video for SummerSlam, but during the kickoff segment, Lio actually had a megaphone just like Jimmy Hart. I wish he would do that, even though it is ripping off Jimmy Hart. I'd love to see him just go one step further with the annoying coaching for Bobby Lashley. I just think it's great, personally. I know you guys don't, but I seem to like sometimes enjoy things that most people don't like. I like to go against the grain, so whatever. Anyways, we had Elias go after Lio on the outside, and that's what led to a spear from Bob the Lash, which led to Elias being counted out. Braun Strowman power slammed Corbin and was about to pin him, but then we had Super Chat time from Mr. Dobby33. I could just see the dislikes coming in now. Aaron Rift versus Sean's View next WrestleMania. LOL, just kidding. Well, first of all, I ain't going to be flashing anybody on video, so I really have no way to measure up to Sean's View Entertainment, so that ain't going to happen. But back to the review. We had Strowman on the verge of pinning the guy he's facing at TLC. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And Corbin was going to get pinned until McIntyre used a steel chair for the DQ. Apparently, all three guys were disqualified. I have no idea what happened here because there was no follow-up on this. It was just the DQ from McIntyre, and then we had an angle, and that was it. There was no other mentioning of how the match was concluded. So, was the whole thing thrown out? It was never really made clear. At least I didn't catch it if there was an official ruling on the match. We had Lashley spear Strowman on the outside. Strowman tried to fight back, but then the three of them just beat him down. Strowman got hit with a Claymore kick, and then we had Corbin use the steel steps on Strowman's arm. And I guess the announcement later on the show was Super Chat time from Tony. Tony Lunky. Lashley, Lashley, Lashley. That was actually his comment. So thank you for that, Tony. And I wish we had some of those Lashley chants on this show. Cindy's not happy, though. But Cindy ain't here, so Cindy's just going to have to be upset about it in the chat room. So, yeah, they did this angle where Corbin injured Braun Strowman's arm. I guess the storyline now is that Corbin is going to have an advantage because Strowman will not be 100% due to his arm, and maybe he's going to have trouble climbing up the ladder or whatever. I don't know. Not really a fan of this angle. Doesn't really convince me that Corbin has any chance in hell of beating Strowman at the pay-per-view unless they do one of those screw job finishes where Strowman's going to grab the briefcase or whatever it is. It's a TLC match, so they got to be reaching for something. And maybe the briefcase or whatever gets pulled up. I don't know what they're going to have there. I don't like the TLC matches when there's no title on the line. I'd rather, if you're going to do a TLC match, first of all, Do it with the guys that take the bumps. Do it with the Kofi Kingstons and the Finn Balor's and those type of guys. Second, actually have a title on the line so they can reach up and grab the title. I don't know. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I'm not a fan of this. And this whole thing, by the way, lasted the whole first hour of Raw. This could have been done so much faster. You could have just done a straight-up six-man match. You could have had it not even go a commercial break, just quickly do a DQ. I guess they had to do an elimination so they could get the other guys out of there. But where were they? I mean, they could have come back out there to help Strowman, and they were nowhere to be seen. Elias is this babyface now. He could have come back out there. Finn Balor could have come back out there. This made no sense whatsoever. Dumb. This angle was dumb. Strowman was saying he couldn't feel his fingers, and yeah. Wasn't a fan of this. Took up the whole hour of Raw, and I still don't care about Strowman versus Corbin at TLC. I really don't. I'm indifferent to it, and they're going to need to do better than this to get me to care about this match. So let's move on here, and we had a recap of the Dean Ambrose promo from last week with the car. Seth Rollins came out for a promo. He was ranting about Ambrose and how Ambrose would never call him when he was out with injury. Aren't you supposed to call the other guy? I don't know. Like Rollins was saying that he never knew Ambrose almost died because Ambrose never told him. So whatever. I don't know. This was, again, dumb. And the crowd wasn't really getting into this either. They were actually doing what chants. Seth Rollins is the babyface here. And that's the thing about the fans too. Like, I don't understand who's a babyface and who's a heel now, and I feel like the fans don't even know at this point, and they just go out there, they're just gonna chant things, they're gonna do burn it down, but then, the material is so bad that they start doing the what chants, and then they'll go back to cheering Rollins a minute later. It bugs me. I miss the old days, and I sound like an old man. I miss the good old days when we would have clear-cut baby faces and clear-cut heels, and the crowd was firmly behind the good guys and firmly against the bad guys. Where's my wrestling? Where's my old school wrestling where we have good versus evil and you actually know who you're supposed to root for? When you have the crowd chanting what at Seth Rollins, you're doing something wrong here. The writing is that bad when the crowd is doing what chants at the guy that gets a massive pop when he comes out when the burn it down is said. So, yeah. Rollins said he wants to fight. Ambrose did a promo backstage, and this is where it got a little interesting, but not really as effective as I thought it would be. So, Ambrose started talking in this backstage promo again how the Shield has to pay for their sins, and he said Roman Reigns has to pay for his sins, and he's going to have to answer to the man upstairs. So yes, they did do a reference to Roman Reigns battling leukemia, and this is his punishment for all the bad things he did with the Shield. So there you go, WWE continuing to use the cancer to advance this storyline. But I wasn't even offended by it. I was just indifferent to it. I mean, I thought it was poorly done, quite frankly. All right, Super Chat time from Interstate Kyle with a $5 Super Chat donation. He's got more to say than he did last night, I'll say that much. He says, get the new Interstate Kyle Day shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. Also, who wants to see a new Tyler the Toilet shirt for Black Friday? Well, unfortunately, we do not have time for that to get a new shirt into production. But like I said last night, maybe we could get Kayfabe Candy Ass or somebody out there to design us a Tyler the Toilet Smith t-shirt. That's TJS's new name. No more TJS. He's now Tyler the Toilet Smith. As long as he does videos in his bathroom, that's his new nickname. But thank you for that, Interstate Kyle. Much appreciated. And yeah, head over to NoDQ.com/shirts. Cheap plug. Tomorrow morning at, I believe, noon Central Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, and that's like 1 Eastern. Pro Wrestling Tees has their Black Friday sale where it's 20% off everything. We have like 5 or 6 new t-shirt designs, including a NoDQ Galaxy t-shirt, which has the names of everybody that super chatted during the month of November. So your name could very well be on a t-shirt if you head over to ProWrestlingTees.com or go to NoDQ.com/shirts to see if you made the cut. And I apologize if you didn't, but it was pretty much everyone who's part of the NoDQ team, and also the people that did the super chat donations got their names on the shirt. Oh, kayfabe. He says, I want a shirt with the names of all my mental disorders on them. We love you, kayfabe. You're the man. You're really a joy to have on this channel, and I'm very grateful to have you as part of the team. So much love goes out to kayfabe Candy Ass. He's a great man, great guy, and I hope we can hang out one of these days at a NoDQ meetup. Definitely looking forward to that one of these days. Yes, Ken terminated by Google. You are on the shirt. A bunch of you are on the shirt. Maybe half of the people in this chat room are on the shirt. You guys are all great with the super chats, and I made sure to try to include everybody that donated in the month of November. And Superman says, I just subscribed. Well, thank you for subscribing. And for anybody out there watching this for the first time, if you enjoy the video, please share it, tell a friend, and of course, subscribe. It's very much appreciated. Let's go ahead and get back to the review. In addition to Roman having to answer for his sins, Roman has to answer to the man upstairs. So Ambrose said Rollins has to answer to him, Dean Ambrose. Rollins ran to the back to go beat up Dean Ambrose, but could not find him. And that was part of the ongoing story throughout the night. Seth Rollins in his quest to try and find Ambrose. He punched out a bunch of indie guys dressed up as security guards backstage. And then later on in the show, we had Rollins in a stairwell, and then he saw a door that said burn it down. So Ambrose was playing these silly mind games, and I don't know. This is not exactly what I envisioned with Dean Ambrose as a heel character. It just seems like a heel version of his comedy character. I'd rather see a more vicious Dean Ambrose than what we're seeing. I don't know. Just something about this, to me personally, feels off, and not exactly what I would be doing with Dean Ambrose as a heel. Just saying, I want to see more of the CCW Dean Ambrose, or John Moxley as he was back then. I want to see that Dean Ambrose that's just a ruthless, vicious son of a bitch. But this guy's more like just, you know, like almost like Bray Wyatt in a way, like trying to do the over-the-top mind games to somebody. So I don't know. I'm not really feeling it all that much at this point. So next up, we had Sasha Banks and Bayley against Nia Jax and Tamina. So thankfully, it looks like we no longer have to deal with the Irresistible Force as Nia Jax's nickname. It looks like WWE has changed the nickname, and Nia is now known as the Face Breaker. Alexa Bliss was on commentary for this match, and she said Sasha and Bayley don't like anyone, but Alexa did point out that she does like Renee Young. Nia picked up the win, beating Bayley with the Samoa drop, and then yeah, that was this. This was just a showcase for Nia and Tamina, and yeah, Sasha and Bayley just background players at this point. Mike B, super chat time with a $5 super chat donation. Aaron, you're the man. Love this channel. Always happy to support you, my friend. Hope to meet you one day. Mike B, where are you located? Just so you know, I am looking into Toronto as the site of the 2019 NoDQ meetup for SummerSlam. So for any of you considering SummerSlam, going to Toronto, that will probably be the meetup location for next year's NoDQ Live. Mike B, Buffalo. Perfect, Mike B. That's not too far from Toronto. You got to get there for the NoDQ meetup. I mean, that's only like, what, a 3-hour drive? It's not that far. Ken terminated by Google. Super chat time. Thank you, NoDQ and A-Rift. Hashtag Happy Rift Day. Well, thank you for that, Ken. But, you know, I have to be honest. Today is not Rift Day. It's Interstate Kyle Day. So head over to NoDQ.com/shirts and pick up an Interstate Kyle Day t-shirt. Yeah, I think it's like 3 hours from Buffalo to Toronto. So hope to see Mike B in 2019. So next up we had Charlie Caruso backstage, and Dean Ambrose somehow hijacked the television screen. And yeah, again, this feels more like Bray Wyatt than Dean Ambrose. Just saying. I'm not feeling this so far. Rollins was backstage, and again, like I said, he found the burn it down on a door. Again, feels like Bray Wyatt more than Dean Ambrose. We had a backstage catering segment, and this is what I was alluding to earlier. Basically, this is WWE just writing for Vince. The writers doing the toilet humor, and I think Michael Cole or Corey Graves, one of them actually said this was toilet humor. They're in catering. You have all the jobbers back there. Rhino and Slater were making jokes about Drake Maverick peeing his pants at Survivor Series, which I missed because I was more focused on, you know, the whole Enzo Amore situation. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode made a bunch of jokes about poor Drake Maverick. I mean, this was like WCW level bad, in my opinion. And again, this was something that I'm sure Vince found to be hilarious, but I think for the rest of us, it was just so lame. And it's really turning AOP. They're the tag team champions. It's basically turning them into a comedy act. I mean, that's what's going on here. Speaking of comedy acts, we had the Lucha House Party against the Revival. So several weeks or maybe even months ago, the Revival were laid to rest. This match was their corpses being dug up and buried again. That's what happened here. This was a Lucha House Rules match, which means it's 3-on-2, but Lucha House Party are baby faces, so This was confusing AF. Nelson with a $2 Super Chat donation. Super Chat time. AOPP, AOPP. So yeah, basically AOP are comedy figures now. The crowd was doing an AOPP chant. They're dead. These guys are so screwed now. It's like when Lance Storm was made fun of for being boring by Steve Austin. It was like the death blow to his character because the crowd just started chanting boring at him every match. He never recovered from that. Lance Storm was never taken seriously again. And that's what's going to happen now with AOP. Now you got the AOPP chants. For these two badass monsters, the crowd's going to chant AOPP at them. Just terrible writing. This is so bad. And, yeah, back to Lucha Party and Revival. Yeah, it was 3-on-2. There was a piñata involved. So did Vince Russo write this segment? This feels like something out of WCW 1999 or 2000. With a piñata in the match and poor Revival. Imagine Revival in the Russo era. Those guys would just be probably worse than they are now, but not much. Shooting star pressed by one of the Lucha House guys, and that was that. Revival lost, and yeah, not much else to say about it. Kev Dog says the authors of piss, LOL. Let's move on here. We had another Seth Rollins promo. He's angry about, speaking of piss, he was pissed off about Dean Ambrose mentioning Roman Reigns and said that he went too far. And then Titus said he spotted Dean somewhere. This was Titus's little cameo on the show, whatever. We had Ronda Rousey come out. The crowd was very mixed for her. Some cheers, some boos. There was a "We want Becky" and then a "No, we don't" chant going on, one of those dual chants. Again, just like when Seth Rollins pretty much blew off Shinsuke Nakamura, Ronda Rousey was basically blowing off Nia Jax. She said she's going to tap out Nia, but you know she wanted to focus on Charlotte Flair. She said she's going to beat Nia and then get her hands on Charlotte. So they're already jumping ahead. We know Nia's going to lose at the pay-per-view. She doesn't even care about Nia. She's focused on Charlotte. So if Ronda doesn't care about Nia, again, why should we? Terrible writing. The writing on this show is just... This particular Raw is like... Perhaps like... borderline worst of the year as far as the writing goes. I mean, This show was just boring. It was putting me to sleep, and it was putting pretty much all of us on Team NoDQ to sleep. TJS, Caitlin, Big G, Jeff, we were all like, this show is so dull. And the writing is not doing anybody any favors. So Ronda was on this little rant, how she continues to fight despite being hurt. And she says, if you want to be a fighter, if you want to be a champion, you have to be the best in the world on your worst day. And she just kept going on about this. She was rambling. It was annoying. Doesn't really make her likable. She kind of came off as whiny, in my opinion. Ronda said to send somebody out. And here's another thing about this. So Ronda, they do this huge injury angle where the chair gets wrapped around her neck and you have Charlotte stepping on the chair. So when Steve Austin did that to Brian Pillman disappeared for about 6-7 months before he appeared again. Granted, it was a real injury, but that was to write Pillman off for 7 months. This happens to Ronda. She doesn't even miss one episode of Raw. She's back on Raw the next night and she's wrestling again. Seriously, guys, just grinds my gears. Ronda had called out somebody, and then we had Baron Corbin come out, and Ronda started talking about how she had 17 fights and never missed one. Corbin was denying the match, and then she said, well, maybe Corbin wants a shot at her. And she actually said shot. So I thought that was funny, the fact that she actually used the word shot. I mean, that's sad when I start thinking about the banned words and when WWE has a promo where somebody actually uses a banned word. How, for me personally, that's the highlight of the show. I mean, what does that tell you about Raw? So anyways, Mickie James came out, accepted the challenge, and you knew there was no chance in hell of Mickie winning. So Mickie got beat by Ronda Rousey, who got her throat crushed the previous night. So yeah, Mickie James, I mean, she wasn't really doing much anyways, but yeah, nobody cares about her. I mean, this is why I would make an argument for just doing enhancement matches and protect your talent. But, you know, basically what happens now is WWE has so many people that half the roster just becomes enhancement talent. And that's what Mickie James was here. And in the end, you don't really care about anybody because nobody ever gets over, nobody wins matches. And when they do, it's 50-50 booking, so it's hard to really care. It's hard for anybody to really build any kind of momentum. So yeah, Mickie James tapped out to Ronda Rousey. And then we had Big Show, or I should say Nia Jax, come out, and she held up her fist at Ronda Rousey, just like the Big Show. So there you go. They got to just, next season, a Mixed Match Challenge, if they even do one, and I don't even think they should do one personally, because who really cares about Mixed Match Challenge? I mean, yeah, they get like 40,000 people watching on Facebook Watch. I mean, whoop-de-doo. I don't know. But if they're going to do a third season, then just, you know, maybe pair up Nia Jax and Big Show. What the hell? She's the female Big Show. She does the knockout punch now. She turns every other week. She cries. She's the female Big Show, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. Man, I am salty tonight, but this Raw was just putting me to sleep. Thank goodness for Caitlin, or otherwise I would have fallen asleep watching this crap. So I talked about a little bit earlier, AOP versus Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. I did want to mention there was an advertisement for Starrcade, but again, it's 1 hour. What are they going to do? Show one match, 2 matches? Are they going to just show clips? Wasn't really made clear. And then the announcers were making more P jokes. You know, Drake Maverick is going to be PO'd about the Authors of Pain. By the way, they lost. They lost to Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Now, I get it. You want to establish a babyface team as a credible force, but this was a total fluke win, and it's just one of those situations where nobody gets over. Like, what's the point? Why not just have Gable and Roode win some matches and build them up and keep them separate from Authors of Pain? I don't know. This just didn't accomplish anything for anybody as far as I'm concerned. I don't care about this match. It's going to be filler. And all the P jokes, you know, Authors of Pain, they're done for. The Raw Tag Division is just pretty much DOA at this point. I'm not talking... Well, I mean, DOA, they were a terrible tag team, but this is like DOA, like watching a DOA match. That's how bad it is. Not the quality of the matches, just how little there is to care about anybody on the Raw Tag Team Division. So then we had another Dean Ambrose promo. He said Seth and everybody else needs to grow up as far as being upset about the Roman Reigns comment goes. He said he's going to break Roman, or not Roman, he's going to break Seth Rollins. He's going to crush him. What is he, Rusev now? And then he started saying, "What's that smell?" And he kept saying this over and over again. So what is he, Hulk Hogan from No Holds Barred? I mean, what's the deal here? He said that he wasn't sure if it was the fear from Seth Rollins that he was smelling, or the smell of Los Angeles, which could be the case. LA doesn't smell all that pleasant, at least that part of LA. Maybe a lot of LA, actually. And then he said the smell coming from people. And by the way, LA is my hometown, so I'm dissing my own hometown. Just saying. He said he has no explanation, no apology. He's just going to burn it down. Blah, blah, blah. Again, wasn't feeling it. He said not a whole lot in this segment. Just more or less this was filler. Now, see, I like these types of segments usually, but in this case, the writing was so bad, I was just dreading every time Ambrose came on TV. I mean, I feel like WWE's rapidly causing me to lose interest in this whole Dean Ambrose heel turn. I thought it would be so cool to turn Ambrose, and WWE is somehow ruining it for me. So yeah. Then we had Seth Rollins packing up his bags, and he was walking out of the arena. I guess he just gave up, but of course it was a swerve, and I figured it was a swerve. You know, he's gonna leave, he's gonna walk out of the building, and then Ambrose is gonna come out, and then Rollins is gonna show up. Very predictable. So I disagree with that super chat from the beginning. And then we had Natalya versus Ruby Riott. Natalya beat Ruby, and that was that. So there you go. They did this whole angle for weeks with the Jim Neidhart sunglasses, and then we just had Natalya beat her on Raw. So what are they going to do now? A rematch next week? Is Ruby Riott going to demand her rematch against Natalya? I mean, come on now. This is just so dumb. Then Michael Cole announced that Braun Strowman had a shattered elbow. So yeah, he's going to be less than 100% against his match with Baron Corbin at TLC. Maybe Corbin's going to win. Probably not. Then we had the closing segment of the show. Dean Ambrose coming out. He brought up how everyone's upset about him turning his back on everyone and all the dirty little children. That was a good line. That was like the one line I liked. Ambrose said that they would do the same thing that he did. They would even do it for a free meal by the looks of the people in the audience. So I guess he was alluding to the fact that there are so many homeless people in LA. I guess that's good heat. Whatever. Then he started saying, "What's that smell again?" So again, he's channeling Thunder Lips from No Holds Barred, the movie. Then we had, of course, the predictable moment. Seth Rollins comes out. They fought for a while, and then Dean Ambrose took a page out of Daniel Bryan's book, or Shinsuke Nakamura's book. He hit a low blow on Seth Rollins. So now Rollins knows what it's like to be AJ Styles for all of 2018. Ambrose hit 2 dirty deeds, and the crowd was chanting one more time as Raw was going off the air. So again, real effective heel there. The crowd's chanting one more time, and they love Seth Rollins to death, yet they're chanting one more time. Why is it like this? I mean, it's like, cheer the good guys, boo the bad guys. Is it that difficult? It just really bugs me. Mike B with a $5 super chat time. Which one smells better or worse? Lashley's money smelling ass or LA? Well, Lashley smells like money, so it's got to be Bobby Lashley smelling better than... Bobby Lashley's ass has to smell way better than LA because Lashley's money. And when he's money, we're talking about every part of him. His ass, everything. So that was Raw. I thought it sucked. I thought this was one of the worst Raws of the year. Boring show, bad writing. I don't care about TLC. I have no desire to tune into next week's Raw. None whatsoever. I mean, this was... I'm going to do it. This Raw was an F. I don't remember the last F I gave Raw, but there wasn't even a great match on this show. There's nothing I'm going to remember next week. There was no match where when it was done, I'm like, holy cow, that was a good match. I don't even think that there was a match that was even average enough to get a This Is Awesome chant. I don't even think I heard one on this show. And you know how easy it is to get a This Is Awesome chant from the fans. I mean, they will chant This Is Awesome for like one high spot. And they didn't even do it to my knowledge, unless I missed something. Somebody in the chat let me know, was there a This Is Awesome chant on this show? Because you know how easy it is to get one. So no real like quality matches on this show. The angles sucked. Nobody really got over. I don't care about any characters on this show. This was one of the worst, maybe the worst Raw of the year. I'm glad I didn't go. I am so happy I saved my money and stayed home to skip this Raw. There is like nothing I can recommend people watching from this Raw. Nothing. Skip it. Don't even watch the YouTube clips. It was that bad. So maybe I'm just salty here. Maybe I'm out of touch, but I thought this Raw was the drizzling shits. So there's my S-bomb for the night. Gotta save it for the right moment. That's what I thought of Raw. It was crap. So that's all I got about Raw. A funny story about Enzo Amore. I guess there were pictures of him around the entrances of Staples Center, so the security guards knew to look out for him. My guess is that was just a one-time thing for him to get that publicity stunt because he's doing the show at Whiskey A Go-Go. I should have just gone to that tonight, but the fact of the matter is I got to get some sleep. I mean, the last couple of nights were crazy. Lots of fun over the weekend with the NXT event and Survivor Series. So I just need to catch up, and I think 2 nights of WWE is enough for me, and I need a break. So yeah, I thought that was funny about Enzo, and he's got his show tonight anyway, so why would he be at Raw? He's got his concert. He's not going to show up and then risk not getting to his concert in time, you know. LA traffic is a bitch. So yeah, that's that, and you know, Enzo, I miss that guy. The guy's got charisma, he was entertaining, and you know, he was one of the best promo guys, but apparently nobody likes the guy, and he's a prick, so just a shame. Real shame about Enzo. And I agree with Curtis Butler, just too much content. But anyways, speaking of too much content, I've been going on for a while now. We've had NoDQ Live. Nelson Moreno with a $5 super chat time. Thoughts on Ronda Rousey claiming to find a way to face Charlotte? How do you see it happening? Well, I think I did mention this on NoDQ Live. I could see Charlotte winning the Women's Royal Rumble and then going on to challenge Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, although knowing WWE, they'll just randomly have Charlotte show up and accept the challenge, like Ronda will call her out and she'll appear. I don't know, but I mean, that's what would make sense to me, right? Charlotte wins the Rumble and challenges Ronda. I mean, Charlotte shouldn't be backing down, right? She should be like wanting Ronda as much as Ronda wants her, right? I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the follow-up is. SmackDown Live, we have the Thanksgiving feast fight or whatever they're calling it. They're saying it's a first time ever. I'm pretty sure we've seen fights with Thanksgiving food before. TK with a $2 super chat time. All the rants last night warmed my cold goth heart. Well, thank you for that, TK, and I'm glad you enjoyed last night's video. I'm glad your man Kayfabe enjoyed it as well. That was a fun video last night. If you haven't checked it out, do so. I know some people didn't like all the chaos, but it was fun. We were all having a good time. We were enjoying the moment of all of us being together in person. And that's what it's all about, having fun, having a good time. Darren with a $2 super chat time. You should do a fantasy booking panel. I like it. What would you like us to talk about specifically? Like a fantasy WrestleMania card, or throw some ideas out at us. I mean, I'm sure we can do some no-DQ panels. I'd love to have some suggestions from you guys, just because I've been wanting to get those going again. There's a huge list of people that want to be on the panels that we haven't gotten on yet. So I definitely want to get back into that. So send me a suggestion. Send me one on Twitter or Facebook, or email me nodqmisc@gmail.com. On that note, I'll go ahead and wrap up this NoDQ Live. Head over to nodq.com for the very latest fallout from Survivor Series. And of course, pick up a t-shirt, nodq.com/shirts, starting tomorrow. 20% off your entire Pro Wrestling Tees order. We got 5-6 new shirt designs. Check it out. And I will be back tomorrow night for one more edition of NoDQ Live to end this weekend of Survivor Series. So that'll do it, and I will see you guys